I played for you guys the last live, I thought that that was, one of the full 911 calls, but I actually went on Neighborhood Talk, which has a more extended 911 phone call that I'm going to play for you. On this 911 phone call, you can tell that Ortencia did not really, basically, this was more than likely someone she had just met and had spent the night with. While she was on the phone call, trying to save his life, she didn't even know the apartment number that he was in. So that sheds more light on the fact that they really didn't have really know each other that well. And it shows also that she was trying to describe the symptoms that she's seen and was really making every effort to try to save him. But let's look at this one because this one's more extended than the one that I played you guys. So we are going to play this and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Oh, I think it's already playing. Hold on, let me go back to the beginning. And sorry, guys. It goes or interrupt. Let me play the 911 call again.
I just need to get him CPR. Please, just ask for you. Need an ambulance? Yes. Okay, hold on. Okay, listen, hold on. Let me connect you with the ambulance. Do not hang up. Hold on, ma'am. I have to connect you with the ambulance. It's Kevin fucking Samuel. I understand, but I have to connect you with the ambulance. Are you okay? Yes, ma'am. What's the address of your emergency? Hello, ma'am. Is this a house apartment or a business? It's an apartment. Please just address it. What's the apartment number? I don't know. He just asked the price. Kevin Samuel. It's up. I'm not sure what it is, but just he's not breathing. I'm trying to give him CPR, and he's breathing now, but I think he has a regular rhythm. We didn't know what apartment number to go to. I don't know, but it's the front desk. What that phone number you're calling us from, ma'am? He's breathing in and out, but he has an irregular rhythm. It's probably his heart. So I need you to get here with the fucking. Man, I'm up at one. He's getting a blow. Okay. I'm stable. Man, hold on. I'm stable now, my girl. Oh my God. It's an apartment. Okay, what's the apartment number? No. I just need to get him CPR. Please, just ask for you. Need an ambulance? Yes. Okay, hold on. Okay, listen, hold on. Let me connect you with the ambulance. Do not hang up. Hold on, ma'am. I have to connect you with the ambulance. It's Kevin fucking Samuel. I understand, but I have to connect you with the ambulance. Are you okay? Yes, ma'am. What's the address of your emergency? Hello, ma'am. Is this a house apartment or a business? It's an apartment. Please just address it. What's the apartment number? I don't know. He just asked the price. Kevin Samuel. It's up. I'm not sure what it is, but just he's not breathing. I'm trying to give him CPR, and he's breathing now, but I think he has a regular rhythm. We didn't know what apartment number to go to. I don't know, but it's the front desk. What's that phone number you're calling us from, ma'am? He's breathing in and out, but he has an irregular rhythm. It's probably his heart. So I need you to get here with the fucking. Man, I'm up at one. He's getting a blow. Okay. I'm stable. Man, hold on. I'm stable now, my girl. Oh my God. It's an apartment. Okay, what's the.
Okay, the thing that concerned me about this, Kevin Samuel is known for, rotating these women out, having the one night stands. And he brings this woman into his home that he doesn't know. The sad part about this is, as he's, expiring and passing away, she discussed how he did have somewhat of a labored breathing. But I believe there was even more of a delay because she didn't know the apartment number. And she was in the middle of trying to render CPR, to save this man's life. But at the same time, you can hear the dispatcher and other people trying to figure out what the apartment number is to get to the apartment. So what that did was it led to a further delay in getting him, the medical treatment he needed. I know that she was rendering CPR, but the problem was because he had this habit of, just having these different women and he doesn't even know, coming into his apartment. Sadly, she did what she could, but she couldn't go out and look out the door to find out what apartment number he was because she was trying to give him CPR. So she's in the middle of trying to render him the aid to, assist him. But at the same time, she didn't know the apartment number. So what that only did was lead to further delay that could have possibly triggered to him passing away because, they're trying to figure out where exactly the apartment is. And another thing, there are people, I think this also goes to the fact that you can hear her on the phone saying he's Kevin effing Samuels. So I think, she knew who he was, basically, that he was a celebrity. She wanted to try to communicate that specifically to the dispatcher that this is a celebrity. You need to get here, basically, to like, I don't know, to hope that they would rush more to get there because if they know that he has the notoriety, maybe that's what I was getting from that when she kept saying he's Kevin effing Samuels, because her question really was, and I'll play the 911 call again, but her question, the dispatcher's question was what the apartment number was, and then she was trying to also transfer her over to the paramedics, which I think it was a paramedic. She said she was trying to transfer her over to, and as she was trying to do that, Ortencia kept insisting that it's Kevin F. and Samuel. So I think she was kind of saying, this is a celebrity, hurry up. I think that's what I was inferring what she was trying to do. Is like, this is a celebrity, need you guys to get over here. I guess that's what it sounded like to me, guys. I might be totally wrong, but it just sounded like she was trying, the dispatcher is trying to let her know that she's trying to transfer her over, and she kept insisting, saying that he's Kevin F. and Samuels. So it just sounded like it didn't go with what the dispatcher was saying, but she also was in the middle of panicking to try to save him at the same time. So, and then you also can hear that she's trying to render him CPR, but yet she doesn't know the specific apartment number. So that was actually problematic in them trying to get to the location, because when they arrived, clearly they were probably having to get to the front desk, figure out where Kevin Samuels resides. That's more delay. We don't know who was at the front desk, how long it took for them to look up that information. So look, that's more delay. And then as she was on the phone with the dispatcher, he started to even get worse. He started to turn blue after 1 minute of her being on the call with the dispatcher, who was trying to figure out where exactly the apartment was. So there's all these different delays happening, and no fault to her that she didn't know the apartment number. She just a one night person that just met this guy the night before. She probably wasn't paying attention to apartment number when she came over in the first place. So, but I'm just saying, this is some of the downfalls of Kevin Samuel's habit of just having these different one night stands. When you end up in an emergency situation, you don't, the person doesn't really know where you are. It just makes more of a delay in trying to render the aid that he needed. So I don't know. Let's play the 911 call again, and I'll get you guys' perspective of what you guys think.
I just need to get him CPR. Please, just ask for you. Need an ambulance? Yes. Okay, hold on. Okay, listen, hold on. Let me connect you with the ambulance. Do not hang up. Hold on, ma'am. I have to connect you with the ambulance. It's Kevin fucking Samuel. I understand, but I have to connect you with the ambulance. Are you okay?
Okay, so let's stop right there. So as you heard that first part of the 911 call, the dispatcher saying, okay, I'm gonna connect you to the ambulance. As she's trying to connect to the ambulance, understandably enough, if you're sitting here seeing someone pass away in front of you, you're panicking, you're not thinking, but she's saying, oh, it's Kevin F. and Samuels. That's what gives me the inclination that maybe she was trying to notify the dispatcher of this man's notoriety, to say, this is a celebrity, give me some extra, like maybe if she says that it's a celebrity of some sort, then maybe they will speed up the process and get the attention that he needs faster. That's what I was getting out of that first segment of this part of the 911 call. You guys tell me what you think about that first part of it. Also, the fact that she knew his first and last name does shed light on the fact to me that she did know of his notoriety that I talked about in the different videos, which in my opinion could have been one of the incentives for her to be like, oh yeah, to come over at a man's house she didn't know. Because I was thinking him being in his age, 53 years old, meet her at a bar. I mean, it happens all the time. I know it happens, but I'm just thinking the fact that knowing his prestige, knowing his caliber, that can be an incentive to be like, okay, come over to a house, hang out with a nice, affluent type man who has notoriety, come and have a good time. So that's another thing too that I was thinking as well, because there were some people saying they didn't think that she knew that he was a celebrity. I think she clearly did know exactly who he was, and the fact that she was on, on his live the night before, when she had accidentally almost walked into the camera portion of the video. So those at least give me the indicators she knew of his notoriety. She during the phone call, she was trying to present that information to the dispatcher to hope and pray that maybe they would speed up their attention to get there, because she knew that he was basically expiring. She saw the signs that he had labored. First, he stopped breathing, basically, and then his breathing became a little labored. As she said, it was labored on the phone call. And then as the phone call began to progress, he turned blue. So it was like he was starting to get worse and worse and worse. But the issue that I have with it is, we have he's having these one night stands with these women he doesn't know. And now, understandably enough, as Robert was saying in the chat, well, one night stand or someone who just met you is not going to pay attention to an apartment number. They're just going there to have fun. They're not even looking at details like that. They're just there for the fun, just going in there, seeing what's going on in the house, how prestigious it is. It's a celebrity's house. I'm interested in wanting to see what it's like. It's just the excitement of being around someone with that type of notoriety. Who knows if she was a fan also. Some people think that she could have possibly been a fan. I might go back, if you go back on her Instagram and you look at her details, she does put in there, her age and no kids and stuff like that. Normally we don't put all that stuff in there unless we're on a dating site. If you're on a dating site, you'll put like the details as if no kids and all that. But I don't know, the fact that she put that in there, maybe she watches his show and she knows that those are some of the factors he analyzes in his show. Who knows? So if she's a fan also, she's probably not, when she first comes to the apartment, she's not looking at those details. But that's a disadvantage I'm trying to communicate. Is That's a disadvantage to Kevin Samuels, because now there was a struggle during that time for people trying to figure out, the paramedics and officers who were trying to get to the location didn't even know where the apartment number was, which led to further delays, which what I'm trying to say, in him getting the medical treatment. Now, I know she was rendering CPR, but I'm not sure of the extent of her capabilities, and the amount of time, how long that could have sustained him, because it looks like while she was rendering the CPR, he was getting progressively worse and turning blue. So it just seemed, if to me, it felt like the further the delay and the fact that she didn't know the address led to further complications in the paramedics getting to the location where they needed to render the aid, which I believe contributed to his ultimate demise. So let's continue in the 911 call.
Is this a house apartment or a business? It's an apartment. Please, it's the resident. What's the apartment number? I don't know. I just asked the friend, Kevin Samuels.
So you can hear that next part. They ask her again, what's the apartment number? She says she doesn't know. Ask the front desk, Kevin Samuels. So that's all she really had. So that really created a lot of difficulty for the paramedics, because they got to know the location. So they probably, trying to communicate this information to the paramedics, they don't know really where to go. They get to the apartment. Now they got to go to the front desk, try to say, it's Kevin Samuels. We need to get to the Kevin Samuels apartment. Well, what do the front desk have to do? Well, they got to look up that information too. So they got to go plug that in their system, trying to figure out where Kevin Samuels is located. So that led to so much delay in this situation that I really feel like it was one of the contributing complications in this situation, when you bring it in, these one night stands. Or she claims she's not a one night stand, but that's my allegation, because I'm saying the facts are lining up, you guys. We got all the facts here that she met him on Wednesday. He basically had the heart complications 6 a.m. on Thursday. She doesn't know the apartment number. She gives him a statement, the officer's a statement, that she met him on Wednesday. He falls on top of her. All those facts together, to me, brings me the allegation that it was a one night stand. I think that was the problem also in this situation, because she didn't know, how to give the officers the location, or the paramedics the location. So that led to an additional delay, even though, yes, I understand she was rendering aid, the CPR. It doesn't sound like in that 911 call right now that she even had the defibrillator at this time. It sounds like she was just rendering CPR. So that's another problem, because they needed that defibrillator, because it appeared as though his breathing stopped and then it came back, and then it was very labored. And so it seemed like his heart was just start slowly giving out and slowly just becoming to a full stop as he was changing color and turning blue. So it just looked like that, all in conjunction with her not even knowing where the apartment was, and them, the paramedics, trying to figure that out, that added to more delay, which I believe sadly led to this tragic end. And I believe if the timing was done right, if they knew what to do, location and all of that, maybe he could have made it. Maybe he could have made it. I just feel like that led to some further issues with the situation.
I'm not sure what it is, but just he's not breathing. I'm trying to give him CPR, and he's breathing now, but I think he has a regular rhythm.
Now, the thing I didn't like, that I had an issue with, she said she wasn't sure what it is. Now, she, in the 911 report, the police report, she said he complained of chest complications or chest pain. So I feel like she should have at least said that to the officers to let them know the sense of urgency on that 911 call, but she doesn't reference the chest pains on this. She just said she wasn't sure what it was. So that also was, to me, something I feel like should have been communicated to the dispatcher, that he did complain of chest, of pain. So I feel like that should have been included.
You know what apartment number to go to? I don't know, but it's the front desk. What that one of your clients from, man? He's breathing in and out, but he has an irregular rhythm. It's probably his heart.
So, okay, there she said. So she said he was breathing in and out. It's probably irregular rhythms. It's probably his heart. Okay, so she did include that part in there. That so he was going in and out. So this part, he's pretty much going out. And now she did say that it's probably his heart. So she did identify the emergency issue. So there, you know, by the time the end of the 911 call gets there, he's already blue. So he was basically expiring during that whole entire 1 minute phone call. You see how the timing of the whole situation was very imperative. When someone says chest pain, it was a matter of 1 minute and 18 seconds. By the time we ended this 911 call, he was already blue. His breathing was in and out, and he would pretty much was coming to a finalization. So I think the issue was also she was the only one there trying to render aid, trying to also try to get them to get her a defibrillator. I don't even know if she ever got that defibrillator, to be honest. The report doesn't seem to give us information that she got a defibrillator. And then we have paramedics trying to figure out exactly where she's located. So I just feel really sad for the whole situation for Kevin Samuels. But I think, you know, the fact that also him not knowing this woman, she doesn't know where she is. She's trying to render aid, but she has limited equipment there. It looks like she didn't have the defibrillator on this one. It looks like the other part one that I played you guys in my prior video, she was asking for the EDD and the defibrillator, but there is no certainty as to whether she ever got the defibrillator. It looks like she was only able to render that CPR. And again, I do believe the fact that she didn't know the apartment number led to an additional delay, which ultimately led to this poor man's demise, led to his demise. And, you know, there could have been a different scenario had she known where he was, had she known the apartment number, other details. Maybe that could have been the saving grace for this scenario. What do you guys think? They could have looked up his address with the name. Yeah, they could look up. Oh, that's true. They could. Every second does count when having a heart condition. Yeah, they could look up that. It looks like they were struggling to try to find it, though. Was she young and dumb, or they didn't ask her the right questions? Yeah, I didn't like the 911 dispatcher, too. I'll play it one more time for you guys to hear the dispatcher, but it sounded like she didn't even act as though it was an emergency. She was just, to me, just like, oh, yeah, I'm trying to, hold on, ma'am, I'm trying to get the ambulance. But it just didn't seem like the dispatcher was really understanding the extent of the emergency as well. But also, this lady here, she didn't really communicate that it was a heart condition till towards the end of this 911 call. That should have been the first thing. But again, when you're panicking, you're not thinking about things. So maybe she just was not thinking. She just was panicking. But the heart issue should have been the first thing brought up. But again, we can't hindsight 2020 or think what someone would do in someone's shoes, because I mean, no one knows what someone would do in that type of situation when someone's passed out, like right in front of you. That could be very traumatic. But again, this is a nurse. This is a woman who has probably been around a lot of these situations, being a nurse who works in a hospital. You see people who have heart conditions and all kinds of crazy things in the hospital. I mean, people coming in with dire, life threatening injuries. So, that part too, I would think that she would, be more familiar with this type of scenario given her profession. So, I mean, you can put that into the equation as well. All of this just caught her off guard. I agree, Robert. Yeah, she probably never in a million years thought she would be in a situation like this. I agree, Robert. I do definitely agree with your analysis, Robert, that she probably just didn't expect for this to happen. You're here meeting this guy on, imagine you meeting a guy on one night, you go to this person's house, and then in the morning they just completely just start losing their life in front of you. That could be pretty traumatic, very, very traumatic. So again, we don't know what we would do in her shoes. This is the sad part of being or living alone. I know that's the sad part of living alone. Also, you're right, live your life, is that, when you're alone and you have some person who doesn't know where you are, even though, yes, I agree with you, live your life, that they could have looked her apartment up. I'm pretty sure they did look his apartment up eventually, but I think the fact that they had to do that extra step could have led to a delay. I'm not sure how long the delay was, but it could have led to a delay, and it likely did, because you can hear them on the phone both, multiple times asking where the apartment was. So that did ultimately lead to some type of delay. So I'm going to play the 911 call one more time, and then we will go ahead and close out.
Okay, what's the apartment number? I just need to give him CPR. Please, just ask for an ambulance. Yes. Okay, hold on. Okay, listen, hold on. Let me connect you with the ambulance. Do not hang up. Hold on, ma'am. I have to connect you with the ambulance. It's Kevin fucking Samuel. I understand, but I have to connect you with the ambulance. Are you okay? Yes, ma'am. With the address of your emergency. Hello, ma'am. Is this a house, apartment, or a business? It's an apartment. Please, it's the resident. What's the apartment number? I don't know. I just asked the friend, Kevin Samuel. I'm not sure what it is, but just he's not breathing. I'm trying to give him CPR, and he's breathing now, but I think he has a regular rhythm. We didn't know what apartment number to go to. I don't know, but it's the front desk. What's that phone number you're calling us from, ma'am? He's breathing in and out, but he has an irregular rhythm. It's probably his heart. So I need you to get here with the fucking man, I'm up a one. He's getting a blue. Okay. I'm standing down. Hold on. I'm standing down, my girl. Oh my God. It's an apartment. Okay, what's up?
Yeah, that must have been so terrifying for her. Oh gosh, I couldn't even imagine what she was feeling. Just the fear, the horror of seeing this man expire in front of her. Just so sad and unfortunate. And it just does really sound that she really was legitimately concerned for him and really wanted to try to save him. So, I mean, we did hear her let me see if I can find her Instagram, but we did see her story before yesterday when she said she really was trying to save his life. So with that being said, it does appear that, this woman probably was just someone that met him the night before, was there to have fun, got nice celebrity she met. She's visiting in town because she's not from Atlanta. We know that she from Kansas raised, but she works in Dallas, Texas. But she happened to I don't know if she was there for a vacation or what the reason was for her to be in Atlanta. But while she's there enjoying her fun in Atlanta, she happens to meet this, man of notoriety, wants to have some fun, goes to his house. And then unexpectedly, this man, has a heart attack right in front of her, or his heart, heart complications right in front of her, and expires in front of her. So it just, that's what it appears now more that we hear more of the 911 call, and that she did do what she could to truly try to save this man's life. It is very sad, and it is very unfortunate that, Kevin Samuels passed away. But with that being said, I think the 911 call, in my opinion, clears her, in my opinion. I can't really think of, I just think this woman was just in the wrong place. She thought she was going to go have fun with a guy, Prestige, and ended up in an emergency where she had to utilize um, her nursing experience to try to save this man's life. And unfortunately, because she didn't really know the location of him, that could have led to a further delay, which, in my opinion, could have contributed to his ultimate demise, in my opinion. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care.